The giant villain fight scene. Director Destin Daniel Cretton opened up to Nerdtropolis about one of the biggest cuts from Brand New Day. His exact quote: "There was a whole other scene that ended up getting cut from the movie. We were going to throw a whole bunch of villains into this one giant fight that ended up getting cut. We were looking at a lot of the old classics, and it was really fun though. We got to design a lot of them. Maybe for another one we'll bring it back." That single quote confirmed something fans had been theorizing about since the trailers dropped. Brand New Day was supposed to be much bigger. It was supposed to have a Sinister Six-style villain team-up. Cretton and his team designed multiple classic Spider-Man rogues from deep in the comics. They filmed the sequence. Then they cut it entirely. Comicbook.com followed up on the story with additional confirmation. Their reporting confirmed that the extra villains from the deleted sequence were being pushed to Spider-Man 5 instead, which means the Sinister Six-style team-up fans have been waiting for since Amazing Spider-Man 2 got hinted at back in 2014 is finally coming, just not in Brand New Day. The classic rogues Cretton mentioned wanting to design likely included some combination of Shocker, Vulture returning, Beetle, Kraven, or classic Sinister Six members like Mysterio's variant. The sequence would have been the biggest villain team-up in Spider-Man film history. Bigger than No Way Home's Multiverse Rogues collection because these would all be main MCU villains united against Peter for the first time. Cretton clearly regrets cutting it. His quote practically begs Marvel to bring it back for the next film. The team designed the villains, the choreography was worked out, the scene existed at one point in the assembly cut. Now it lives in the Marvel archives waiting to potentially resurface in Spider-Man 5. Rosario Dawson's Claire Temple cameo. Rosario Dawson dropped one of the biggest bombshells at GalaxyCon this year. During a Q&A session with fans, she confirmed she shot a scene for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Then she added the devastating part: it got cut out. Her character Claire Temple has been one of the most important connective characters in the Marvel Netflix corner since 2015. She appeared in Daredevil Seasons 1 and 2. She appeared in Jessica Jones. She appeared in Luke Cage as one of the main characters. She appeared in Iron Fist, and she appeared in The Defenders. Claire Temple has been the emotional anchor of Marvel's street-level heroes for a full decade. Bringing her into Brand New Day would have been massive. Games Radar's post-release breakdown strongly suggests where her scene took place, the hospital sequence at the very end of the film. Peter has just been shot by Frank Castle. Jean Grey is using her powers to keep Peter alive. Frank rushes Peter to a hospital. Claire Temple, working as a nurse the way she did across the Netflix shows, treats Peter without knowing who he is. It would have been the emotional payoff of years of Netflix continuity finally arriving in the main MCU. Rosario Dawson bringing her character back would have signaled to fans that the entire Marvel Netflix corner is officially canon in the current MCU. Daredevil is canon, Luke Cage is canon, Jessica Jones is canon, Iron Fist is canon, The Defenders is canon, all of it. Claire Temple would have been the confirmation. Instead, her scene got cut, which means Marvel is either saving the Netflix corner reveal for a bigger moment, or they decided the cameo would have distracted from Brand New Day's grounded emotional focus. The biggest live-action Netflix Marvel cameo in years was already filmed. Rosario Dawson is on record confirming it exists. Billy Clements' extended Ramrod role. Billy Clements plays Ramrod in Brand New Day. Ramrod is one of the deep-cut Spider-Man villains fans have been begging Marvel to adapt for years. The character debuted in Amazing Spider-Man 221 back in 1981. Clements approached the role with serious dedication. He studied every Ramrod comic appearance. He prepared for a much bigger part than what fans saw in the theatrical cut. Then post-release he sat down with Games Radar and dropped the truth. A lot of his scenes were cut from the final movie. His original role was much bigger. The Ramrod audiences saw in the theatrical version only appears during the opening 420 frames per second comic cover recreation montage, Blink and You Would Miss Him, which is not what Clements filmed. The full Ramrod arc that Clements shot likely included a proper introduction scene, a fight sequence with Spider-Man that expanded beyond the montage, and possibly a connection to the Sinister Six deleted scene that Cretton confirmed existed. Ramrod is a heavy hitter in the Marvel comics. His metallic body allows him to charge through walls and steel. He would have been a formidable one-on-one opponent for Peter Parker. The cut roll means Ramrod got the same treatment as many other Brand New Day villains. The film needed to focus on Jean Grey, Bill Metzger, Frank Castle, and the mutation storyline. Every additional villain scene was extra weight. Ramrod got trimmed down to a montage appearance. Clements' disappointment about the cuts made headlines the week the film released. His quote to Games Radar carried real frustration, but he also confirmed something bigger. More recognizable actors than himself were also removed from the villain roster, which suggests Brand New Day almost had a much bigger and more famous villain lineup than what audiences saw. Ramrod being trimmed to a background montage moment is the tip of the iceberg. Clements has been vocal about the pain of watching hours of his own work get erased from a Marvel movie. If you're loving these deleted scene breakdowns, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We've got more coming. Let's keep going. MJ visiting Aunt May's grave with Peter, the most heartbreaking cut of them all. Set photos and leaked footage from August 2025 showed Zendaya on set in a yellow turtleneck filming a graveyard scene. Tom Holland was there in Peter Parker costume with fresh makeup that made him look beaten up from a Spider-Man fight. The location was Aunt May's grave. The scene was clearly Peter and MJ visiting May together. Then the promotional materials started using clips of the scene. Trailers and teasers included the shot of MJ at the graveyard in her yellow sweater. Fans immediately started theorizing about what it meant. Was MJ starting to remember Peter? Did she somehow recover her memories? What was she doing at the grave of a woman she supposedly had no memory of? For months, the MJ grave scene was one of the biggest theories in the entire Brand New Day marketing cycle. Then the film released, and the scene is not in the movie. Only Peter visits Aunt May's grave alone at the end. He tells May's headstone that he will not do it alone anymore. He walks away. That is the moment in the theatrical cut. No MJ, no yellow turtleneck, no graveyard scene together. Marvel cut the entire moment, which is a fascinating creative choice. The MJ grave scene would have been the first major sign that MJ's memory was starting to break through Doctor Strange's spell. It would have been the emotional setup for the necklace revelation and the single tear scene that made it into the final cut. Marvel decided the movie worked better without it. The single tear during Jean's mind control moment carries all the memory breakthrough weight now. The graveyard scene would have been too much, too obvious, too on the nose. Cretton and the editors decided MJ remembering had to be earned through smaller moments rather than one big graveyard reunion, so the scene got cut. Keith David's full villain role? Keith David was one of the most exciting casting announcements in the entire Brand New Day marketing cycle. His unmistakable voice appeared in the first trailer narrating the Spider Life Cycle's monologue. Fans immediately started theorizing about which character he was playing. The leading theory was Miles Warren, also known as the Jackal. Warren is Peter Parker's evolutionary biologist rival from Empire State University. In the comics, he becomes obsessed with Peter's DNA. He creates the Peter Parker clones. He kicks off the entire Clone Saga storyline. Murphy's Multiverse ran a full deep dive on why Keith David playing Miles Warren would set up the biggest Spider-Man storyline never adapted to live action. Then the film released. And Keith David is not the Jackal, he is not any character at all. Slash Film and Games Radar both confirmed that he plays the narrator of a YouTube video or documentary special that Peter watches in the background of an early scene. Games Radar noted that Keith David is only part of one background voiceover moment. Nothing more, a voice on a spider documentary. That is Keith David's entire role in Brand New Day. The disappointment among fans was immediate. One of the greatest voice actors in Hollywood history got reduced to a background voiceover, which strongly implies his original role was much bigger and got cut down. Marvel either shot him as an actual character and then removed everything except the documentary voiceover, or the original plan was to introduce Miles Warren in a physical scene and then set up the Clone Saga for future films. Either way, Keith David's Brand New Day contribution is a fraction of what fans expected. The Clone Saga setup got scrapped or delayed to Spider-Man 5 or 6. Meanwhile, the biggest name in the supporting cast delivers 3 sentences of narration over a spider molting video. The more recognizable actors that were removed. Billy Clements dropped the biggest bomb of his post-release interview cycle. He confirmed something the trailers had already hinted at. Beyond his own cuts, more recognizable actors were removed entirely from the villain roster of Brand New Day. Multiple famous cameos were shot, then all of them got cut. Games Radar suggested Rosario Dawson was one of the removed actors, which we now know is confirmed, but her Claire Temple cameo was not the only one. Marvel filmed additional recognizable villain cameos and stripped them out of the final cut. The Sinister Six-style villain lineup that Cretton designed likely included appearances from bigger name actors than just Ramrod and Boomerang and Tarantula. Which actors could have been in the cut? The rumors and theories vary. Some fans have suggested Michael Keaton's Vulture was originally intended to return in a brief cameo. Others have theorized that Tom Hardy's Venom was going to appear in one form or another before the studio decided to save that story for Spider-Man 5. Some believe William Fichtner or Michelle Yeoh was attached at one point to play a mystery villain who got removed. The Spider-Man Homecoming villains Shocker, Tinkerer, and Prowler had rumored appearances. Even Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp was speculated to make an appearance in the villain montage. Any of these would have qualified as a more recognizable actor being cut. Marvel is not confirming which cameos got removed, but Billy Clements confirmed they existed.